Star Wars fans, the Book of Boba Fett Episode 2 is here. I want to talk about my personal feelings about the episode, discuss the crazy reveals, and I want to talk about whether or not fans that were down on Episode 1 may change their tune after having seen Episode 2. What's up, everybody? It's Josh coming at you from Nerd Avengers Tower. Do me a favor and smash like on this video if you liked Episode 2 of the Book of Boba Fett more than you liked Episode 1. And for me, man, that's kind of the key here. I felt like Episode 2 was really good, but most importantly, it was an improvement upon almost everything that happened in Episode 1. It's still sort of a slow burn on some of the plot points that were introduced in Episode 1, but it levels everything up. It amplifies both the stakes, the action, and the character development. And I feel like this episode does the exact thing that we need this episode to do, and basically all of Star Wars Disney Plus live action content. And that is to sort of walk this really interesting balance between servicing the fans, giving crazy things to talk about and look forward to, but also staying true to what Star Wars is while developing stories around characters. I continue to believe that a part of the game these days is doing crazy stuff, fan servicey stuff, but you can't let that be the driving force of these different shows. The shows themselves have to have actual character development, actual story, and I think Boba is doing both things really, really well. As we expected, Boba Fett is further inducted into the tribe of these Tusken Raiders. He's taught how to use their weapons more correctly, which is very like Last Samurai or even Westerns when, you see cowboys being trained on how to use the bow and arrow or how to do traps or different things that the natives did. And then you get a totally classic Western and technically samurai trope, and that is this train coming through and disrupting the lives of the native people around. This actually is what The Last Samurai is kind of about, like the trains just going in to areas that the sort of samurai lords and the leftover remnants of that time are not down with. And in the West, in America, that was crucial to Westerners sort of taking over more native parts of the country, like conquering the West, as it's called. Yeah, that was all done by train. The trains go west and people go out there on these trains, and trains would be attacked by natives quite often. So basically you see a lot of that sort of Western and samurai trope stuff going on with Boba Fett and this tribe of Tuskens, but it's also friggin' awesome, packed to the gills with crazy Star Wars lore. Like, we get a better look at how the Tuskens view outsiders, technology, their place in the world. We also see the Pikes moving spice across Tatooine. Very cool stuff, and the first time we've seen the Pikes in live action. And before all of that stuff happens, we get to see Boba Fett being more gangster, more assertive in the present when he confronts the mayor after getting that assassin to reveal that they were hired by the mayor. Which I'm technically still not sure if they were actually hired by the mayor or if they were hired by the Hutts. There's some really interesting stuff going on there. And so we get Boba being a little more gangster, a little bit more badass, which I think a lot of fans were looking forward to. And then he has a confrontation with Hutts, the twin cousins of Jabba, who are laying claim to Tatooine once again. And in this moment, we get a huge cameo and a big reveal of a character from mostly Star Wars comics, and this is Black Krrsantan, or as my chat kept saying in our watch party last night, Black Croissant. Now, this dude is both a fan favorite and an absolute powerhouse when you look at the lore of Star Wars. So it's super cool that he's brought into the canon and used in such an interesting way. And Boba Fett remarks on him being a gladiator. Like, he knows this dude, BK as they call him. Like, he knows him. He's actually been hired with him before. And it's totally safe to say that these two are going to have some kind of a conflict very soon in the show. And so again, I love this stuff. I think the most important aspect here is it's really servicing those two main things that I think Star Wars shows and basically modern IP pop culture shows must do. Servicing the fans, giving them a little bit of what they want, leave them wanting more. Like, I can't wait to see BK and Boba actually fight. That's going to be nuts. While also developing the character through the backstory and the flashbacks, but also watching him get more aggressive and more angry at his station, on Tatooine. And so as far as my thoughts on the episode, like, again, I really liked it. My only complaint is that in the backstory with Boba, it feels like there's a beat missing. It feels like there has to be this beat where Boba is acknowledging that there's something about the culture of the Tuskens that is comforting to him, or something that he feels an affinity for, and that's kind of missing. Like, we kind of go from him being like tortured and dragged through the desert to wanting to help the tribe, and there's no real indication of why. And I think we may get that kind of spelled out more as we move along, but that's my literal only complaint with the first two episodes, and particularly the second episode of Book of Boba Fett. There's just, to me, a little bit of a beat missing. Now let's talk about some of the rumors and the speculation that's out there. This part's really, really crazy, and then I want to finish this video off by addressing the fans. Do I think this show is going to win back fans that didn't like episode 1? We'll get there. Now, this is crazy, guys, because the leak was proven fake in this episode. The two Hutts coming in and them having hired Black Kirstanston, that's not in the leaks at all. And there was only one plot leak, and for whatever reason, some people latched onto it. I even had Dude Trust Me Bro tell me he thought that leak was real. And in that leak, it is Kira, the leader of Crimson Dawn, who hires Black Kirstanston to come take out Boba. And there's just a lot of stuff that's in that leak that's not in the show right now. And so that's kind of exciting, because it means that that exact plot leak was not correct, but a lot of the stuff that was rumored and leaked as far as like cameos and things, that's still on the table, because yes, BK was one of the big characters rumored to be shown in Book of Boba Fett. And so essentially what this means is that as far as leaks and rumors and things of that nature, all we know is a bunch of awesome toys, if you will, that could show up in this season. But we don't know how or when they will show up, and that just puts this air of mystery and excitement all over this show. It's actually kind of refreshing. Normally, there's a lot of stuff leaked out for the different big pop culture shows or movies. Book of Boba Fett, we really don't know where this is going. So in no particular order, here's a bunch of other crazy cameos that are said to happen in the show. You're said to be seeing Cad Bane in the Book of Boba Fett. You are said to see Bossk in the Book of Boba Fett. You are said to see Grogu in the Book of Boba Fett. Din Djarin is rumored to appear, and Luke Skywalker. Also a big rumor about a scene where there is an actual Rancor in the show, and Boba might even ride a Rancor. So that stuff is still on the table, and the speculation on how that could happen is just crazy. Like, I expect that Boba will defeat BK, and then the Hutts will be forced to bring in other crazy bounty hunters, which is really, really exciting. Maybe something to do with the Hutts, or some wider things at play, like with a possible Thrawn thing happening in the macro for the Filoni-verse. That might be the way you get Din Djarin, Luke Skywalker, and Grogu to show up. Who knows exactly? But the Kira stuff, that came from the plot leak that has now been proven to be false. Now, does that mean Kira will not show up at all? No, she very well still could show up, as it's very likely the person that put together that plot leak was looking at all of the rumors that had come out previous and putting in their own conjecture on what would make sense for the show. Kira actually does make a lot of sense to be showing up in this show. The Pikes were connected to Crimson Dawn, and that Crimson Dawn theme is still in the Book of Boba Fett theme. So she could still show up, but technically it's less likely now that plot leak has been proven false. And the last big cameo thing that I've been talking about for a couple of weeks now, but just continues to pick more and more steam up, is the rumor of Han Solo. And in addition to that, the rumor of Harrison Ford returning to Star Wars to film a cameo, much like what they did with Luke Skywalker in The Mandalorian Season 2. And the last time we spoke about this, The Sun, which was a magazine in the UK, basically came out and said that they had heard that, yes, Harrison Ford would be doing this, and they had it as an exclusive. But The Sun's not very reliable. But you know who is? Big Screen Leaks. Big Screen Leaks came out and said they did hear that Han Solo will be in the Book of Boba Fett. They don't know for sure if it's going to be Harrison Ford or somebody else, but they are reporting that they hear that Han Solo will be showing up in the show, and who he is with is going to blow minds as well. This is another big rumor that a lot of folks have been hinting at, is that whatever's going on with Grogu and possibly Han Solo and Luke Skywalker, that whole aspect of the Book of Boba Fett is going to blow fans' mind. And with big screen leaks coming out to talk about that, that makes it two pretty reliable scoopers that are out there saying that yes, Han Solo will be in the Book of Boba Fett. Now, lastly, let's talk about the fandom. Like, do I see a difference in the reaction of this episode out there online? First of all, yes, I do see a lot more folks saying they like this episode more than they like the first episode, but a lot of fans are still acknowledging that this is kind of a slow pace, and people that don't really like the Tusken backstory stuff, I still think they're more or less not happy with where the show is at. And so if you're asking me if I think this episode is going to turn the show around for many Star Wars fans that didn't like the first episode, I would say no, but what I will add to that is that I see in the show and the way they're developing things and sort of progressing this thing, that by the end of it, you will absolutely win all of those fans back. Like, it's just obvious that where we go from just 1 into episode 2 is a lot of growth, a lot more development, and a lot more badassery. And I think that is going to follow in the episodes to come. So episode 3, I expect to be even more dope. Episode 4, even crazier. And then 5, 6, and 7, I mean, just probably mind-blowing, crazy Star Wars content. And if that happens, yes, many Star Wars fans will switch their tune after episode 1 and say that it really came around. They might still acknowledge that it had a slow start, but I think in general, things are looking up for both Star Wars and the Book of Boba Fett. I'm excited to see where we go from here. Those are my thoughts and feelings about the Book of Boba Fett episode 2. What did you think about it? Let me know in the comment section below. Like this video if you liked it, subscribe to this channel, see more of our content pop up in your recommended feed. Check me out on TikTok, check out the podcast on Spotify, and don't you dare miss those live streams, man. We have a ton of fun on the live streams over there, and we do a bunch of giveaways as well. So go check it out at The Den of Nerds Live, the other YouTube channel that we have. As I always say, I hope you're having an awesome and a nerdy day, and I'll see you in the next video.